Good morning from St Albans. Bit of a more wintry day today. Hello. I hope you've had a lovely stand or are having one, or will be having one, depending on where you are. I've actually managed to get it just about right with the clothing today. I'm togged up because it's pretty breezy, but it's lovely. Let's just spin this round a sec. The leaves are all really turning now. It's definitely looking more wintry. It's looking like, yeah, we're getting into November very shortly. But not too cold, fortunately. I hope everyone's doing well. A few groggy faces here this morning. Had a lovely Halloween party last night. Two of the standers from St Albans put on a house party. Absolutely amazing. The decorations, I have to post some photos. It was really good, very fun to just be dressing up and having a laugh and just a bit of that normality, and yeah, not dwelling too much on the unfolding catastrophe. I was reading this morning, well, I'd heard about it actually, I wasn't quite sure what this was all about, but in Oxford and Canterbury, so that's two towns or cities really, in England, they're introducing, with absolutely no public consultation whatsoever with the residents, who this will massively impact and impinge upon. They're basically zoning the cities into, I know with Oxford it's 6 zones. It's very Hunger Games. So you've basically got your zone that you live in, and you will not be allowed to drive more than 15 minutes outside your zone. So you will be restricted. If you leave the zone, you will be heavily fined. And this has all been passed through, like I said, with absolutely no consultation with the public. It's just they're going for it. And I think we can expect to see this being attempted all over. Of course, it's under the guise of the environment and congestion, reducing congestion and so on and so forth. But obviously it's so thinly veiled, this attempt to radically restrict freedom of movement, which again, it's the stuff that we've been talking about, called crackpot conspiracy theorists for years, that this was always going to be a major factor in this enslavement, freedom of movement. So even within your own town, that you are designated your region, and if you want to travel outside, that if you want to travel into different parts of town, then it must be through one of their, the public transport system, which it's renowned as being shocking in this country. It's why no one uses it. Sometimes it would be wonderful to know that you could just hop on a bus and it would be really cheap and straightforward and easy. Same with the train. It's not. They've been run into the ground for years. So yeah, it's just yet another step, and it's moving quite swiftly towards that absolute control over our every movement. But once again, this is something that the people have the power to stop. There is a lot of uproar, thankfully, and I can't see how this is actually going to succeed. I think there will be so much pushback, but it won't stop them trying. It's just, we're really seeing, as I keep saying, like, you know, when an agenda is that evil, we know what the intention is behind it. At some point it does become so obvious, they're not actually able to justify and to hide it, because the reasons are so flimsy. And it is just that stripping back of freedom, and that's the ultimate freedom, really, isn't it? To be able to move around, go wherever you want to go. So it's interesting. I'll be watching it closely to see how it pans out, but I do think this is something we're going to be seeing, you know, not just in England either. I think this is going to be something, you know, you got the whole electric car thing as well, is very much factored into this. As somebody pointed out, at some point you wouldn't even have to worry about fines, because the cars will be programmed to stop at that point where you're not supposed to go any further. So yeah, it's we can see where this is all heading, and the only way that this is going to stop is when we put our collective foot down and say no more, we are not having it, we're not going to live this way. So we shall see how the people of Oxford and Canterbury deal with this, but I know there is a lot of opposition, and it is very dystopian. It is kind of getting out there, widely publicised, but yeah, again, I think the speed that it's happening, it does kind of smack of a bit of desperation once again, that they're having to really propel these things, motor these, no pun intended, motor these things through, and just sort of try to get a foothold. But there's a lot of resistance, thankfully. But yeah, it's down to us. It's down to us to say no, to refuse. And I think the biggest hurdle we face really with all of this kind of civil disobedience thing is there's still that wanting it to be someone else to kind of take the risk and sacrifice themselves, when actually, and this is what they count on, it's always been this way, is that people won't, there will not be the numbers coming together to disobey, because that's what shuts the whole thing down. When you've got thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people just going, no, I'm not going to do that. No, you can fine me, but I'm not paying it. When you've got thousands and thousands and thousands of people doing that, it's over, because they do not have the infrastructure. And actually, when that happens, because it's peaceful as well, it's just a resistance. No, it's just a no. That's when they get really nasty. That's when you see, you know, they're like big bullies, really. That's when you see the true faces revealed, because they don't like that. If you're all guns blazing and there's violence, that, you know, all these things that they want to push us into, they've got that justification then to really go for it. But when it is that just peaceful resistance, it's a simple no. No, we don't, it's up to us. We're the people. We don't want to live like that. So thanks, but no thanks. They don't like it. And actually it does force them to kind of show their hand even more. So I really hope that that's the way that things will go as we head further down the road and things get more dystopian, that people will kind of throw caution to the wind a bit and be like, right, okay, even if there is the chance of, you know, some personal consequences, it's worth it. If enough people think that and do that, then it really starts to crumble for them. But anyway, I'm going to get back to my lovely gathering of people over here. I've got a nice cup of tea to warm me up. No vegan sausage rolls today, which is a bit of a shame, but never mind, I'll survive. Anyway, have a very lovely rest of the day or evening, and I will speak to you very soon. Lots of love. Peace.